Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Taurus, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you're going to get a human design oracle deck card, and that's because the monthlies are not quite ready at the time of recording this. I'm apologizing because they are very late this month. For your key to the week, you have the gate 39 and provocation. So one of the things that I like about this card is, yes, obviously I'm an Aquarius, so a little bit of a provocation and rebellion goes a long way with me. But this card basically says, whatever it is that you're doing this week, Taurus, you have to play devil's advocate. You have to give the challenge. You have to show up in a way that prompts people to react to what you say, to what you do. This isn't giving you a free pass to go around and be an absolute douche. This is giving you the freedom to be your true authentic self, and if you say something that triggers something, that's on them to deal with, right? So you're going to have to strike a fine balance between this. And it's interesting because if you look at the card, there's two candles either end and they're joined by a single flame, right? Sometimes we need to give people the challenge in order for them to find it within themselves. It's kind of like the hero's journey, right? When you watch all of those films, the reason that you love it and that you love that the hero gets up in the end is because you see the adversity. Well, this week you have to give people the provocation. It's not about goading people on purpose. It's about standing true to your own values and your own understanding and letting that speak for itself, so that when it prompts or provokes somebody to act, that comes from a place of their authenticity. This week you get to play mirror to the world, right? If you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit that subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, my dear Taurus, you get ooh. Okay, your jumping card, oh yeah, is the World card, right? There is a big moment of success that takes place for you. There's a full circle or full cycle moment that takes place for you this week. I mean, it's in your actions and options as well, right? So this week, some of you could find your tribe. This week, some of you could find yourself at odds with somebody in your community or your tribe. It's gonna be slightly different for everybody, right? Now, another way that this shows up for you is you graduate, right? This week, you, especially with the provocation card, you may come to that new level of understanding of, you know what? I don't have to justify who I am. I don't have to justify my prices. I don't have to justify my workload. I don't, like, none of it, right? You're coming to that new understanding or new level of self where you will and won't accept what you will and won't accept, which is, you know, phenomenal. For your communications and conversations, you have the King of Wands. So when it comes to your communications this week, my dear Taurians, right, you are going to be, I mean, Taurus is a very blunt sign anyway. And it's one of the things that I love about you guys, which is why it's so funny to me that when, like, in my younger years, I never used to get on with Taurians. And it's like, now I understand that, yeah, all right, fair enough, Aquarius and Taurus are very different signs because they're earth and air. But there are so many similarities, and that is the reason that when they clash, they really clash, right? This week, you could be a lot more blunt than usual. This week, you could, because it is the King of Wands. So I want to give you, you know, just like you're going to give everybody the provocation this week, I need to give it to you so that you understand something on a deeper sort of level. This week, even if you don't mean it, even if you don't have that intent, you may come across as a little bit more aggressive than usual, right? Taurus is very slow to anger. It's only when you really take them to that place that you get to see the bull, right? But it takes a lot for you guys to get to that place. This week, you may just come across that way in the way that you speak, in the way that you act, in the way that you're very... and people might kind of be a bit sort of like taken aback by it. This is one of those few times where it's not everybody else, it's you. And it's not because you're, it's not even because you are being aggressive, but what you're saying, what you're doing is provocational. And so as that's an energy that's surrounding you this week, the way that people receive you might be a bit more, pearl clutchy. So just be aware. For those of you that work for somebody else, you're going to need to be comfortable with the leader spot this week, right? Usually you guys are actually really good team players and will plod along to the last point. But this week you're going to have to really play by the rules of the team. Even if that means grabbing the team by the short and curlies and saying, right, you lot, this is where we're going. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, are you ready to shine? Are you ready to be seen? Are you ready for the world to know you for who you are, for what it is that you truly offer? Whether you are or whether you aren't, you might find yourself thrust into the limelight in some way. For those of you that are retired or no longer working, similar energy, but don't forget the King of Wands is also asking you to think about the way that you manage things and situations in your life. This week, the way that you manage things, the way, in fact, all Taurians, the way that you manage yourself, the way that you marshal your resources, all of it might be brought into question in some way. And with that, provocation energy there, you might be inclined to say fuck you. I do as I damn well please, which I ain't mad at you. Hello. For your love and relations, you've got the Five of Wands. Now you've got this with the World card. That's very much a community energy or a community vibe. There's going to be lots of banter with you and the partner this week. There's going to be lots of laughter with you and the partner this week. The banter could be a lot harder than usual. I know that's one thing I have to say in all of my previous relationships I've been very lucky with. Like the level of the banter has been, if like people walk past you and hear the conversation, they're like, oh my gosh, you're in an abusive relationship. And it's like, no, we just joke with each other to that level. You might find that this week that level of goading each other and ribbing each other is really there. To the outside world, it might be like, oh my gosh, like did your other half just say that to you? Or did you just say that to your partner? It's like, yeah, we're joking. There's an inside joke here that you guys get, which I like. Because of that provocation energy, you might be seen to be the one that takes it that little bit too far, all right? So just be aware. If you can see your partner's... if you can see the brow furrow, then maybe you're edging on that point where it's okay, this is a little bit too close for comfort. It's a little bit too close to be a joke now. So just consider that. For those of you that are single and looking, it's through your people, through your connections. Lots of laughter, lots of banter, and possibly lots of options as well, which may not come across as comfortable to whoever the options may be, but hey, that's not your stuff. For the money and materials, you've got the Page of Pentacles. There is a seed being planted this week for your money, for your finances, for your resources that really has a potential to grow. And as such, it's really important that you present yourself as no more than you are. Don't undersell yourself, but don't oversell yourself. Just be 100% your authentic you with the challenges that you're going to give people, right? Because that's what's going to win it for you this week. I love this, especially because the King of Wands is there as well. So, nurture your ideas this week as well. And if you have a prompt on that intuitive level to go after something, follow it. That's a ribbon that the universe is presenting you with. And the more you pull it, the more you're going to realize it's taking you somewhere, really special. For your physical health and vitality, this card for me has a very Taurian energy. So the neck, the throat, and the voice, these are things that you really want to look after this week, especially with this energy here. You know, if you're one of those people that bites your tongue and swallows down what you want to say, this week, you know, it could be one of those things where, you know, you lose your voice, because it's like, well, the universe is like, well, or your body even, you know, or your mind even, or your spirit is like, well, you're not using it, so I'm going to take it from you. And when you have throat chakra issues as well, this is something really important to know. When you have throat chakra issues, it's not just about what you say or what you're not saying, it's also about this. Communication. The throat chakra is all about communication. Communication takes listening and speaking. So sometimes if your throat chakra is underactive, it might be that you're not hearing something that you actually need to hear. All right, so just consider that this week as well. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, this would be a really good week to think about ways that you can socialize, invite people in. It might even be a really good time to start that project on the home level as well. All right, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.